Invest Africa, proudly brought to you by KPMG.
Hello and welcome to Invest Africa. I'm Demisha Greater. Africa's cosmetic market is experiencing a boom. But before we begin our studio discussion, let's take a look at one entrepreneur's story. A tragic accident back in 2009 left Relebohile Moeng with a stubborn scarring on her face. Shortly after the accident, both she and her husband were retrenched. Needing a source of income as well as a product to assist with her scarring on her face, she created Afri-Berry.
In 2009, a tragic car accident left Relebohile Moeng with over 100 stitches on her face. Haunted with a stubborn scarring, and as well as the retrenchment of both herself and her husband, the pair were forced to exchange their complacency for the downward spiral that their lives were in, and so their story of triumph began.
We both founded Afri-Berry from our own capital, with no assistance from banks or investors. As you can imagine, when you are moneyless and you are behind in installments, nobody wants to give you funding or is really interested in you.
Obviously, it's something that is not common, that a wife and a husband would be doing things together in terms of business. It is a scary thought from the onset. I remember we were in our bedroom and running the office from the bedroom.
When we did market analysis and market research, we then learned that there was not much in South Africa with regards to argan oil and carrier oils and cold pressed oils, and that's where we saw the need and the demand. At that time we knew that what we were familiar with. I'm from a marketing field and my husband is from a financial background. We knew that we had to launch into something that's gonna bring us the revenue that we were earning at that time, and we knew it had to be products, and we knew it had to be something that was very niche in the market.
We started with an old packaging, and we believed in it so much that to some extent that we would even package boxes whilst driving. I would be driving, she would be packing stuff, wiping it, making sure it's clean when it gets to a client. And we started by approaching wholesalers, see how it goes, and it started picking up from there.
Now, with their head offices based in Centurion, the Moengs run a successful business. Afri-Berry distributes in various countries around the world, and their key market resides in China.
I'm the sole distributor of Afri-Berry products in China and also South Africa, Chinese market. I come from a herbal medicine family, so basically I've got knowledge of herbal stuff. So I would say I love herbs, I love natural product, and I trust the natural product as well. Chinese people, I think most of Africans trust herbal stuff, but I would say in China, most of Chinese people trust African stuff.
If you're a young person and you've got a dream, it doesn't stop there. Seek for opportunities that will make you better. Seek for opportunities that will tell your story. So any story can be turned into an opportunity.
With entrepreneurship and small business paving a way for the growth of Africa's cosmetic market, we're joined today by Johannah Moriti, founder of Jo-M Cosmetics, right here in Johannesburg, and in Nairobi we are joined by Suzie Wokabi, founder of Suzie Beauty. Ladies, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Before we come to Johannesburg with you, Johannah, let me start off with Suzie, who's sitting in Nairobi there. There's been the talk that we are definitely seeing the that this industry is worth billions and billions of US dollars. I'd like to use our vantage point, and you being in a different part of the continent, do you think we've managed to capture the vastness or just how big this market is?
In Kenya, I was actually away in the US for many years and came back home in 2007. When I came back home, the industry itself had grown by leaps and bounds, and I'm talking about fashion and beauty. And it was so fascinating to see and to be a part of. And, you know, even apart from, you know, fashion shows every weekend, a new fashion line coming up, you're seeing a lot of brands, international brands showing up in the retail cosmetics market.
Johanna, let's come to you. She said a lot of brands showing up in the retail cosmetics market, but barriers to entry, and of course you also have your own cosmetic line. Just give us a sense of what the situation is like in South Africa versus global trends. You obviously need to keep abreast with what's happening globally.
In terms of the market being fully, or companies taking advantage of the market, I don't think we're there yet. I think there's still more to be done because the market is quite huge. More and more people are getting, it's just like, for instance, cosmetics. It's not a lot of women are using cosmetics like foundation, powders. So there's still a big gap for us as beauty companies to actually capture that market, even though it's growing, but there's still, it's just a certain percentage. So it's up to us as beauty brands to make sure that we cater for this market. And how do we cater for this market? We cater for this market by being informing the consumers or the customers, because most of them, they're not using them, like I make an example of the cosmetics, they're not using them because they don't know how to choose. First of all, like a foundation, most of the women don't know how to choose which one is my right color. Is this the right? How do I choose? So we as beauty brands, that's our gap in order to capture that full market, because it's a huge market and it's a growing market. For us to inform our consumers, this is how you do it, this is what, and then give them the relevant product that they're looking for, because at the moment the consumer is looking for products that are naturally ingredient based. So we need as beauty brands to actually inform ourselves and do more and more research on natural products, natural ingredients. How can we cater that market? How can we yes, as I said, cater, but capture that market. Exactly. Thank you very much. So it is important that we make sure that in terms of our research, we research not based on what we think the market needs, but on what the market informs us all the time, what they're looking for.
Suzie, let me come back to you there. You've heard Johanna talking about the fact that we need to be able to capture this particular market. You are in the industry, and of course you have to adapt. This is a hugely fragmented market, and you need to be able to stay relevant. According to a statistic or research done by Euromonitor, it said that Kenyans are most likely to use your more natural products. So tell us how you've been able to do this, and if this is a fair assessment of the land, the lay of the land there.
I think natural ingredients, yes, sure, they're important, but I don't think they're vital to this market. My brand, Suzie Beauty, I created it out of the lack in the market of good quality, affordable product. That was what was completely the gap that I saw. And my customer appreciates, you know, the right textures of products, the correct staying power. You know, yes, while all the ingredients must be non-toxic and as safe as possible, and everything tested as much as possible, getting the colors right was the most important thing for me and my brand, and that's what I think our client appreciates the most. A lot of women like a natural look, you know, as opposed to the product has to only be a natural product.
I'm hearing a natural coming through very strongly here. Is this the change here on the African continent? And in terms of you being a product, we are hearing that African women do want a more natural look. But if you want to expand outside of the African borders, does this same strategy still work?
The natural trend, it's a global trend at the moment, because most people are more aware, they're onto this good lifestyle. They're more into gyms now. They want to eat healthy, so they want to make sure what they put into their skin, is it good? What I put into my hair, is it good for me? So I found that my market, especially the South African market, is a very informed market, and in that way that they're looking for something that will enhance, not only enhance their beauty, but is it good for me? Is it good for my baby? Is it good for my daughter or my son? So natural is not only here in Africa. Outside of Africa, Europe, everybody's looking. They're into this wellness lifestyle. I want to live healthy. I want to make sure that I take stewardship of myself. So then it creates this trend also on us, on cosmetics, to actually cater or to actually enhance that or support that move. Because if you don't support that move, then you don't become relevant to the consumer. So we have to be relevant as cosmetics, especially as beauty cosmetics. So for me and my brand, how we started, we actually started on that trend already. We started as a natural brand that promoted Afro hair and natural beauty, because I agree with our panel, as she says that they want to have this natural feel. Yes, so we came in and made the natural look beautiful and trendy, and also that is okay for us to be natural. There's nothing wrong with that. So that actually pushed our brand and made us acceptable into the market. And then not only that, so now we had to grow into now catering this safe, let's say it's sort of like safe wellness offering. So we expanded our offering to that because we wanted to cater for the market.
Johanna, we're going to pause this conversation and we're heading into a quick break, but when we continue, we'll be looking at this discussion even further, and we'll be hearing from Bimpe Onakoya. She's the Artistic Director at L'Oreal for Central West Africa. A big theme coming through here is the fact that they need to cater to customers' needs, and affordability coming out as something that we do need to tackle. So given the fact that African consumers are still a little tight for cash, how do we stay relevant, and how are we able to compete with those global brands? Stay with us. Welcome back to Invest Africa. Bimpe Onakoya, Artistic Director at L'Oreal Central West Africa, spoke to CNBC Africa about Nigeria's growing cosmetic market.
It has really evolved. The market is booming. People can't get enough of cosmetics. They just love to look good. From Nigeria to Ghana to Togo, everywhere. Even in Nigeria, it's like an anathema for anybody to go to an event without wearing makeup. And I remember that some few years ago, people used to do their white weddings with just talcum powder, you know, nothing, and maybe lip gloss. That was all. But now it's just not possible.
Okay.
It's really good.
And then what are the investment opportunities we see in local production of cosmetics and makeup products in Nigeria?
Yeah, people are really investing. People are leaving their day jobs to invest in this business because it's booming. There's a lot of opportunities for them, and there's a big market for it. If you look around, you will notice that there are a lot of locally produced products that people are very crazy about. They're not really doing bad at all. They're not doing bad, and also international companies have just discovered what we've known all along, that there's a landmine waiting to explode in this part of the world.
Okay then. And then what are the opportunities for entrepreneurs, people who want to go into the makeup or cosmetic industry and be their own bosses, either through producing their own makeup line or just being an artist?
There's a lot of opportunity for them. But first, they need to perfect what they're doing. They need to have some sort of credibility. People need to know if they are makeup artists. People need to know that they are very good. If you're not a good makeup artist and then you're producing your own product, people won't trust you. So they need to know where you're coming from. They need to know your credibility. And then it's just going to happen.
Okay then. And then how has your business grown over time from Nigeria and spreading all over West Africa and other parts of Africa too?
It has really grown. I'm so grateful. It's as a result of perseverance. I've worked for 12 years non-stop, and I kept improving on my skill, and I kept doing what I love best. And it was just a matter of time for international companies to notice me. And yeah, I'm just very grateful.
Okay, and then do you get support from government? Is the makeup or cosmetic industry in Nigeria getting government support in terms of funding or policy making or any other type of support?
Not at all. I've not seen that. I don't know if they're not looking our way yet, or they just don't think that we are important. But for now, it's just individuals and companies that are making everything work.
Okay, and then let's go to issue of fake products now that flood the market. I mean, people come up with ideas and make a product in the market, and before you know it, you just see counterfeits all over the country. What is responsible for that?
I think it's sheer greed. You know, people who can get, they just infiltrated the market with fake products. You know, like you bring in your product that you carried out research on, you know, and then you're hoping to make some money, and then these people think that they can make more money than you. So they buy your product, and then they take them to China or to one of those Asian countries, and then they make a cheaper version of it, and they bring it back into the market for people to sell. So most time people don't know the difference between these products. It's only when you buy and then you test them on your skin that you know that, okay, this is not the original. It's either you're breaking out or something is just not right about it. It's not good for us. It's not good for anybody. It's just bad business. And hopefully, government will help us to sort this thing out. It's a mess.
Still in studio with me are Johannah Moriti, founder of Joanne Cosmetics in Johannesburg, and in Nairobi, Suzie Wokabi, founder of Suzie Beauty. Suzie, let me start off with you. Before we left off, before we headed into a commercial break, we're speaking about affordability and the ability for local brands to compete with these global brands. Just give us a sense of how you are seeing companies such as yourself able to do that.
I've created my development process. I develop products locally and make sure I use, you know, as many safe ingredients as possible. In fact, all of them. And manufacturing locally has been the biggest challenge. I found out very early in my process, so I knew I had to find a contract manufacturer somewhere in the world that would just mass produce the product that I've locally developed in an affordable way, so that I can then retail my products to my customer in the most affordable pricing as possible. So sitting next to global brands in the different stores, Suzie Beauty stands out because of the pricing. I think most of our competition is at least double the price of our products, yet, you know, we sit together in the same space. And the fact that it is local, it is made by an African professional for the African woman, that's a huge selling point for us. And we touch a patriotism in the Kenyans and the African women, because they're like, you know, this is the first time a product has actually been catered to us. And so they definitely appreciate that. And the pricing is extremely affordable. It's for definitely the growing middle class is my target market. She doesn't travel many times a year. The imported products that you find in the stands and in the stores are much, much pricier than they are in other countries. So it's difficult to be able to afford them. So Suzie Beauty locally does that. So it's just about localizing the product and the pricing.
Johannah, let's come to you. Are you able to compete when it comes to price? And of course, a lot of research and development goes into your particular product as well. So how are you doing in terms of being able to be competitive on that front?
When we developed the product, or when we started the brand JoM, we wanted a natural product that is affordable. That was our main objective. So in terms of our pricing, we are not that expensive compared to our competitors. If you're looking at about 80% natural product, it's highly priced. So our whole aim was that natural product shouldn't be so expensive. It should be affordable to anybody that wants to use it. So it should be a choice. If I don't want to use this type of a product, I can buy a natural product at a similar price. So our pricing is similar. It competes with the international brand. And I can agree with Suzie as well. We're doing our own manufacturing ourselves, and most of our ingredients, we find them here in South Africa, because Africa is very good with natural ingredients. And so that actually we are able to accommodate and make sure that our margins are good. And recently we've changed the models also to accommodate for the margin, to make sure that our clients are getting our product at affordable price. So how do we do that? To make sure that we actually, the value chain, looking at the value chain, can we close the value chain ourselves so that we are able to cater affordable and also give the service that we are looking for to our clients. So that's recently we've changed our business model. Instead of using a retail model, now we are using an online and also going to our own retail, which is our own JoM retail. So why we're doing that, we're looking at affordability as we've increased our product offering. So we need to make sure that our makeup is affordable, our everything that we do, our skincare is affordable. So we've put everything in together and make sure that our value chain is closed, and at the same time, which we've noticed or we've seen in the industry or in the market, is that customers are looking for service. Is one of those days where you just sell a product and then you say goodbye, that's it. People are looking for communication. They're looking for service. What is it that the product can do for me? If maybe you've put instructions, if the person is stuck, can I contact the brand themselves and find out how can I use? So that's why we change our business model also, to make sure that we keep the service to our clients and make sure that we give them the service that they're looking for. Because I think that is very important in terms of capturing the market and also looking at the trends and the informed consumer. She's always looking for value for her money. It's not just I'm just buying it and that's it. Yeah. So as a company, that's what we think the trend is going to. And not only South Africa, I think globally too. Everyone who buys something, they want to know, what is it for me? What can I get out of it? And we have to be available to be able to assist in that regard.
Suzie, having to stay on the pulse of things and being able to cater to what clients are looking to get from you, how are you staying ahead of the curve and making sure that you're able to deliver on this? And of course, what's next for Suzie Beauty going forward?
We have a very close relationship with our consumer. We're very active on social media. We take a lot of feedback from them. So we know exactly what she's looking for. We've known this, as my background in makeup artistry, before I even developed the line, I was doing that type of research, trying to find out what my client feels like she's lacking in the market, and then catered to that and created the line according to that. So, it's a lot of, the colors need to be correct, if somebody does their makeup, they don't want to look gray or pink, they have to look, perfectly chocolate brown or whatever it is. And, for example, with a color makeup, eyes or lips, product that's going to stay on their skins really well with our climate, with our humidity levels. So creating it according to what they were looking for and then keeping up and keeping the feedback going while we're still also educating them. I agree with Johanna, education is super important. So we spend a lot of time educating our clients on how to use the product that I've developed, and thereafter, is it working for you? What do you feel like could be tweaked? We have a close relationship, one-on-one relationship with them. I always say, you know, the big international brands that we're sitting with and competing with, nobody can actually directly interact with the person who creates the product. So that's what also stands us apart, because it's a direct relationship.
Well, thank you so much to my guests today, giving us an overview of what it takes to make it into the African consumer market and also be able to build your brand beyond Africa's borders. A big thank you to Johannah Moriti, founder of Jo-M Cosmetics in Johannesburg, and in Nairobi, Suzie Wokabi, founder of Suzie Beauty. And of course, if you'd like to take this conversation further, do tweet us using the hashtag InvestAfrica. From myself and the team, have a great day.
Invest Africa, proudly brought to you by KPMG.